Please like, subscribe, and be sure to click that bell button for regular and exciting indie film content and your chance to be the first to engage with the Liftoff Global Network of Film Festivals as we embark on launching the careers of the filmmakers of tomorrow.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's stream. Today we're joined by two filmmakers, one in Los Angeles and one in Australia, for our Sydney and Melbourne Film Festival and our Audience Choice Roundtable. So let's start. Who do we have with us today? So we have Neil and Luke. Neil, do you want to introduce yourself first?
Sure, yeah. My name's Neil Hausey. I am a director in Los Angeles, and this was my first film.
Amazing. So we'll be screening all of the films muted in the background and delving deeper into the content. And I'm really looking forward to hearing how this story came to life. So thank you, Neil, for joining us here today. And also we have Luke. Hi, Luke.
Hello, how you doing?
And you're in Sydney right now, right?
Yes, beautiful Sydney. It's my bedtime, but I'm here and I'm ready to go.
Ready to go. So we're actually going to start with your film. So before we delve into it, I just want to say that the chat room is open. So if anyone does have any questions for our filmmakers, please feel free to put them in there and we'll do our best to give those to the filmmakers as we talk. So Luke, your project is Sticks and Strings. So let's start there. So I'm just going to get it loaded here. But as I do that, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what your role was on the project and what the inspiration behind the story was?
Yeah, so I wrote and directed Sticks and Strings. It was my graduate film for film school. Put a lot of hard work into it, and I had a great, amazing crew behind me as well that helped as well. Beautiful people. And the inspiration from the film really came from my childhood mainly. You know, my brother would play guitar a lot, and he'd never teach me. He was such a twat. Oh, shit.
No, that's a fine word to use.
Thank God. You guys are British. That's like a British word, isn't it? Anyway,
yes. Yeah.
So yeah, and I was struggling to come up with an idea, and I thought I'll go, source from home, and I kind of wrote the script, just kind of like take a few moments from my childhood and really put them on screen with the story, and also just rock and roll is really cool, so I thought I'd just show a bit of that.
Amazing.
Rock and roll is really cool. Couldn't have put it better myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
So along with the jury as well as the audience, this was obviously one of the films that was doing so well on the festival circuit, especially the Sydney and Melbourne festival. So huge congratulations to both of you for that as well. So I think the first thing I want to ask is about casting and how you cast the actors in this film. So take us back to the moment where you were looking for your actors.
I got really lucky, and I'll be honest, very, very lucky. So we use Showcast to cast mainly, and all those casting websites. But a few months, like half a year before I came up with the idea, I went and watched School of Rock, the musical, which was playing.
Nice.
And there was this, and we managed to catch Thea, the lead actress. She was the drummer in the musical, and she just blew me away. She was amazing. Now she's like the only female drummer. The drummer's a guy in the movie and in most of the musicals. So she's like the only female drummer that's ever been in that role. I'm like, wow, this girl's amazing. Anyway, I didn't think much of it. And then I was casting for this film, and I realized everyone that was coming up that I was casting for, that have musical talent and be at that age, was in the School of Rock musical. And I'm like, okay, I got to find out who that girl was because she was talented. And I casted both guys and girls for the role of Casey because I didn't really care. The gender had no relevance to the story. So I thought, I just need talent. And I couldn't find her anywhere. So I actually tracked her down from like a interview she did, and I found her Instagram, and I was like, "Hi, can I talk to your parents or agent, please? I need their number."
Yeah.
And that's how I got, and everyone else I got through casting websites, and they were just amazing. From the second I saw Hannah, who plays Jessie's audition, I'm like, I need her, I want her. And then the two guys that came along, very talented guys, came into the audition room. We had a great time, and yeah, it was I love my cast. They're really, really good. No, I'm sorry, I'm eating a lot of grapes. I'm kind of nervous.
No, go for it. No, it's
also serendipitous after just a trip to a School of Rock musical. There you go, and now you got a movie out of it. That's a good story.
And it also goes to show the power of social media to track down who it is that you're looking for. We often get asked, how do I approach an agent, or I'm looking to cast this person in it, and they're like, we have no idea where to start. So I'm just like, are they in socials? Are they actively posting? Can you reach out to them, DM them, find out who their agent is? So that was a really, really good way of getting that actor on board. So nice.
And she killed it. She did amazing as well. So I was very happy.
Yeah, it was one of the things that we were talking about, actually. Not only are the performances great, but the screenplay is fantastic as well, and building conflict in most of the scenes.
Yeah, it's just that wonderful screenwriter trick where in every scene there's some form of conflict. You know, sometimes it's very small, like, you know, the scene that's on in the background now, with the character in the play park with her friend. You know, there's little moments like that where they're debating or arguing about something, but not obviously full-blown shouting match. It's just one of those things that keeps scenes really interesting. Just no scene feels kind of phoned in or sort of wasted with the whole thing, you know. I just, you know, being someone who's always like screenwriting, I'm like, yes, this ticks all the right boxes, you know. It's that kind of thing. And even just smart lines, you know, like when it might come up later on the screen when the brother is playing the sister the song with the headphones and then turning it down, and she goes, why are you doing that? And he says, oh, he swears in the song. I just love that. Just those lovely little moments that are peppered in. It's just a really, really smart script, honestly. Like, I mean that most sincerely.
Thanks. That exact scene came from my childhood. I don't know if you heard the Tenacious D song Kickapoo.
Yeah.
It swears a lot. And my brother, like, my parents weren't fighting, but they did, but not at that point. He really wanted to show me this song. But obviously I was really young, so he couldn't show me all the swears. So he'd put it on, and then every time the swear would come up, he'd turn it down and like put his hand over the lyrics. So that's what and that was actually that memory is what inspired the majority of the film, as I thought that was like that kind of relationship.
Oh, that's so great.
I just realized that my film's going on. My YouTube's a little delayed, unfortunately. But yeah.
Nice, great.
Yeah,
and then the other thing that we were talking about was the cinematography.
Yes.
Which is, again, flawless, near enough. So, as this was your a student project... No worries. Oh, I'm glad that didn't set you off, Rupert, did it? It must be the cone.
Okay, yes.
There you go.
Anyway, sorry, you were saying?
About the cinematography, what camera did you decide to use to shoot this film?
It wasn't really a decision because we went to film school. We kind of just got given the gear. I mean, like, that sounds really unprofessional, but we used a red, I don't know, a red Epic.
Yep.
And my cinematographer, I'm gonna name drop him, Ben Fulcher, because I want him to, you know, thrive. His name's gonna be out there. He was a legend. Like, he, you know, no problem was a problem for him. He managed to make it work whenever he could. I was a real pain in the ass. I wanted this whole thing on like handheld, so that guy's back got messed up. Sorry, but it was it was fantastic, and the cinematography, I love it. I think it really gets the moments I needed to get. I don't know what scene you guys are on right now, but just this scene that I'm up to, the scene where I'm up to, where they're teaching guitar to each other. I really loved that and how it came out.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to shoot?
We were meant to take 4 days, but I snuck in a 5th day there, so 5 days. And if I had more time, I would have got 1 or 2 more shots that really would have cleaned up a few things.
Fair enough. I think talking about adding shots and stuff like that, looking at the runtime of your film, it pretty much hits perfectly what festivals are looking for. So I think it's, as much as it's hard when it's your film and you want to include as much as possible, the outcome that you have is amazing, especially as this was your graduation project, which I think is just wonderful. So really well done.
It kind of leads on to my next question, which is about the locations. There are scenes in the play park. I don't know if you had to get permits to shoot that, and sort of how did you find that, especially as a graduate filmmaker? Because in my experience, you know, getting permits when I was in like university studying film was really, really difficult. What was kind of the process for that for you?
It was a little bit difficult. So the play park we got the permit for. My friend, actually my first AD and co-producer, Simon. Oh my god! As soon as you put this guy down. Okay. She actually lived near that park. Stop it. And so I thought it was perfect. So, and it was kind of quiet and secluded. So we chose it because no one else to be there. Little did we know, the day we shot was the first day of school holidays. So it was packed. And that second scene at the park, where she's learning the drums for the first time at the park, I had to cut around that so tediously because the amount of little kids that ran past the camera.
Yeah.
But it was really cute because on the side you could see them pretending to be like little filmmakers, like they were inspired or whatever, and that was adorable. But yeah, so we found that park because my friend lived there, and we got the permits, which it wasn't that difficult. I kind of just called up the council and begged. I was like, please, and they're like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Oh,
so that was
great,
nice.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in, for example, in London, if you have the student credentials alongside what you're trying to shoot, it's often a lot easier. Once you're out of college or university, it does become a lot harder. So you get a lot of more guerrilla style, especially on the underground and the train lines and stuff like that here. But if you're caught, it is a very high fee that you can get. And I've heard horror stories in New York, and I'm sure LA is just as hard. So maybe we all need to go to Sydney and
just go shoot in Sydney. Just call up the council.
That sounds a lot nicer.
It's,
I'm pretty sure.
Sorry, carry on.
That it costs $2 million an hour to shoot in Times Square or something. That was just a fun fact. You go with your question.
Yeah. So we've spoken a lot about like memories from your childhood that are in this film, which leads me to a question which we started talking about before we joined on live, and that was like, what moment did you realize that this industry was for you? Was there a particular film or something that inspired you to go on your film degree, or what moment was it?
I actually, for my whole life, I wanted to be an actor. Like, I'm a very big entertainer. Like, I can talk for hours. Like, I will take up as much time as you will give me. Like, that's it's not good. So I wanted to be an actor, and I took a gap year right after high school. And I was like, fuck, I gotta act. I don't care how I'm doing it. So I wrote a web series with some friends.
Nice.
With purposely acting in it. And let me be honest with you, it was probably the worst thing, like cringiest thing I've ever done. Terrible. Like, I've done like shits that have come out better than that. Anyway, but like the process behind it was really fun. The writing process. I've always like written kind of short stories here and there as a kid, but like just the idea of directing, I really like fell in love with that. And I thought, I can't act that well, but I can boss someone around like a champ. I'm kidding. So yeah, I thought I'll give it a try. So I went to film school, and that's really, it's like not that big of a story. But I always wanted to be in the film industry, and I guess that kind of just pushed me to say, okay, oh, he farted. Pushed me to really say, like, learn film. So
yeah, I think we have quite a similar kind of launch into this industry. I always wanted to be an actor, and that's what I saw. That's what you see when you're growing up. You just see what's in front of the screen, not what's going on behind. And it wasn't until after I left drama school that I was just like, wow, whoa. There's a whole other world behind the screen. And so I went into producing and short films and working for Liftoff. So yeah, I think it's always an eye-opener to hear other people's stories of how they got to where they are. And Neil, I'll be asking you the same question when we get onto your film. So it'll be interesting to find out. So what's next, Luke? What are you working on next?
Another short at the moment. I was going to have my hand at a feature all last year. I was trying to write one, but being in lockdown, my brain literally could not handle it. So I'm actually writing another short, which I've already finished writing it. I just got to tweak a bit, and I'm going to start putting it into pre-production tomorrow, actually.
Nice.
About a little girl who gets put on the naughty list. So she kidnaps Santa and tortures him till she gets off. Except
Nice.
Santa Claus isn't real, so she ends up just kidnapping some homeless guy robbing her house on Christmas Eve. Yeah. So I'm really happy with that one. I think that's turned out really fun, really short. So that's next. And then from there, hopefully above and beyond. Hopefully we're going to snap.
What was your feature? You don't need to tell me the full concept, but what was the idea behind it, and what genre?
It was kind of like Stand By Me, kind of Goonies vibe.
Okay, cool.
I was writing with a friend, and we all writing a bit at a time each. But like when you can't see each other, like they live 2.5 hours away, and with the lockdown and the Zoom, it can get kind of messy, and it kind of just like I still want to make it, but it's just on the back burner at the moment for it at the moment. Yeah, but there's so much more.
So
it's on the shelf. I have like 50 projects myself.
Yeah.
So from what I'm understanding, you are quite heavily into the family-friendly genre.
Yeah. I really dig it. Like I kind of balance it. Sorry, I kind of balance it out with like kind of like intense thriller and drama. I've gotten really into horror recently. I've been doing a thing this year where I watch a new movie a day, because I end up just rewatching the same fucking. I've seen Mean Girls at least 30 times, which is my favorite movie. Before you ask, it's Mean Girls.
Great.
Love that shit. So I've been like experiencing different kind of things, and I do want to have my time writing like a good thriller, or not like a thriller, but like an intense drama. But I know where my strengths lie, and that is unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, that is just mainly with family-friendly stuff.
This is like music to my ears, by the way, which I'll lead on to, because every time we go to the film market, so whether that's AFM, EFM, the European Film Market, or Cannes, the Marché du Film, when we sit down and ask sales agents what they're looking for, the number one thing over and over and over again is family-friendly content. And it's because it can be consumed by all ages, it's in demand on streaming platforms as well. So I think if you keep pursuing and growing your kind of network in that area, it will definitely work in your favor. Stick to the standard of this and beyond, you'll be fine.
That's the thing, I guess family-friendly content doesn't always have to be constrained to kind of, your Disneys and things like that. Look at stuff like Little Miss Sunshine or even Jojo Rabbit, which kind of sprung to mind when I was watching the scenes with the kids in the park. It was just like,
that's actually Jojo Rabbit was a huge influence. I love that movie. I've seen that like 9 times. Not that it's a brag, it's more of I have a problem. Heavily inspired by Taika. But family friendly is definitely an industry that I've wanted to do. Just because I grew up pretty much raising like 12 of my little cousins. Like I'm in the middle zone, so and you always got to keep entertaining for them. And most of my favorite movies are basically just kids movies. Like Stand By. I mean, Stand By is not really a kids movie, but it's just stuff like that.
Yeah, nice. No, it's very exciting and family friendly, and coming of age films is stuff that I really enjoy, and when I'm producing is what I want to move into as well. So
we're besties.
let's hopefully we'll be in Sydney in November with the festivals again, so we'll definitely have to catch up and have a coffee.
Hopefully I'll be back there with my kidnapped Santa story or whatever.
Well, there you go. Hopefully you have until November to get it complete. That's your deadline now.
Okay.
Perfect. Neil, do you have any questions for Luke?
I mean, I already asked how long it took you to shoot. Like that was I'm really impressed that you got it done in 4 days. It's a lot of content to really get done. Yeah.
Oh, it was 5 days. 5 days. But
5 days, right? You snuck it.
It was cramped. I think.
How long were you in pre-pro?
Sorry?
How long did you do pre-production?
Like a month and a bit. I think I only actually wrote the script a month before the shoot date, because until then I had no idea what I was going to do. I had like 3 different short ideas. I had this weird one where some guy goes back in time to try and get himself aborted. It was weird. But I'm really happy I found it where I found it, because it was a blast to shoot, and I really felt connected to it. And most of the stuff that came together with the film was just pure luck. Like that soundtrack that's there, the music that I got in, not the ones that the characters sing, but the background. I was shopping for posters to put up in the guys' room, and the shop owner's like, "Here, use my music for free," and I'm like, "Perfect fit, I'll take it." Really saved my bacon.
Yeah.
And like I loved it. But it was a long 5 days.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
So I guess my final question before we move on to Neil's film is, where can we see Sticks and Strings again? Is it going to be in any other festivals coming up, or is it moving online? What's the situation?
I only actually put it into like 8 festivals, because it's kind of broke.
Yeah, I mean, festivals can be expensive.
The only one that it hasn't got, going back to me, I think it's Byron Bay, but I don't think Byron Bay is kind of like cancelled or like pushed their short film section because of COVID. I got this weird email that was like, "Hey, we're delaying it again, but it might not be in." I'm like, all right, just tell me or not. But if not, it'll eventually be online. I haven't put it online yet because I wanted people to watch it on Liftoff, because I'm a proud Liftoff fan.
Thank you.
Of the festival, so yeah.
Nice. Cool. Well, good luck with Byron and whatever other festivals may be in the pipeline. Thank you for sharing your story. And if you have any questions for Neil when we're about to watch this film, please ask away. So I'm just going to get your film set up here. Here we go. So that should be starting up here any second now, and it'll be on your screens in a moment. All right, cool. Neil, tell us a little bit more about the inspiration behind your story.
Well, I mean, it's a very quick story, so it was pretty similar on the page. I think it was a 4-page script.
Wow.
It was so there's not a lot of backstory to it. It's a pretty abstract, I think. Just wanted to kind of get something that was relatable to, different walks of life. Everybody's seen their parents fight, or, watched a fight they shouldn't have, or had something that they like forgot about kind of creep back up on them. So it was, I think, a little bit more about getting a feeling than following a strict narrative.
Nice.
But I also hate writing. So that had a lot to do with that, something that I the opposite. It was not like keep as much on the screen as possible. It was like how short and how much like fat can I cut off of this to get it to be like as lean as possible, which I think is pretty noticeable again with how quick it is. It's but it was really hard to shoot because we shot in the middle of COVID. Today is actually the 1 year anniversary from when we shot. We shot right now, I guess, a couple hours from now. But
and was it a 1 or 2 day shoot?
It was a 2 day shoot. So we did 2 half days.
Yep.
We did each scene in a day. So that was pretty hard to do with the lockdown still. We actually lost our main actress like the week of because of lockdown situations where she was in a different state and couldn't come in time. And we had to recast, which was too bad because Lisa and I had worked, Lisa Starrett had worked a lot on the role, but Rachel Ramos, the person that came in and filled in the week of, did I was very happy with the way that kind of, worked out and landed itself together. But no, it was a small crew and just something that we could try to do in the lockdown. And we had to do the whole permit situation and, in LA. So deal with LAPD and, like blanket the neighborhood with the flyers. And it was a whole ordeal, which was, a lot without being able to really leave your apartment. So
yeah,
it was a big headache for a tiny film.
You touched upon quite a few things that I wanted to go back and talk about. And I think the first point is the lack of dialogue, I should say, maybe, which I think is really great because the actions speak volumes. The kid's expressions on his face are just perfect, so you don't need the dialogue to fill that space. I think when it comes
he did a really good job.
Yeah, when it comes to writing, if you're able to put what it is that you want on paper without it being words, then that will ultimately make a stronger film, especially if it's in this style that you've created here. So well done for that.
Well, it was really nice with Sam Backey and Pin Young, who played the couple as well, because a lot of the fight is just riffs off of them. We just kept doing it kind of over and over, and I just let them they used bits of the script for sure, but a lot of it was them kind of just playing off of each other. They did a really good job. Like I said, it was more about a feeling, so I wanted the actor just to kind of have the room to move around and keep it more natural. So
yeah.
It's a real stroke of luck when the actors have that chemistry that you can kind of go off how they're playing the scene, and sometimes they can make it better. It's that wonderful thing where you just get two actors that just click.
Well, yeah, and they met that day because we had done online readings, but the first time they had met face to face was right before that. So because of COVID, so couldn't really go anywhere. So yeah, it was a lot of the cast really just met for the first time right before we shot. So it was interesting.
So
not something that I would do again if I could avoid it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm just going to get that ready to go there. So you said you did read-throughs online. During those read-throughs, did you have any rehearsal techniques that you used online to connect the actors together, or how did it work?
No, it was more just like background and tone notes to kind of give them an idea of, because I wanted every character to be fleshed out to a degree. So like, hopefully if you've been in one of those situations, you could take something away from it. Like I'm sure everybody's, knows someone who's been like the douchey boyfriend, or, the super angry girlfriend, or like, had been the kid in the room, or, I wanted something to be, fully dimensional. I didn't want them to be one-sided or anything. So I think that was just the biggest challenge was, just giving them notes to kind of think about before the day and get into a space where they could like bring something to it themselves. But nothing too in depth, because we were going to be doing the scene a lot the day of, so I didn't want to overwork them before getting to know each other.
I guess it's a really good compromise to sort of get your actors like ready and prepared sort of in COVID times, because you can't get together in person and like rehearse and everything like that. So yeah, I guess kind of the new way forward during this period is just a quick Zoom call, a read through, and then just let the actors go away and think it over. It's definitely a good compromise, sort of considering the times that we were living in, you know.
Yeah, it was maybe like an hour together on a Zoom.
Yeah.
Prior to, not too much.
Even that,
and then a little time individually with them if I could.
Even having that hour to work with the actors is great, because we see so many films that prioritize the look of the film, so the art direction, the cinematography or post-production, and forget about working with their actors and developing the script. And it's really jarring when we come across a film like that. That's why I wanted to understand a little bit more about your background and how you got the chemistry between the actors. So well done for doing it so promptly and quickly, but actually doing it as part of your process. So
that kind of leads me on into sort of how the film looks. I think you shot on a red camera by the looks of it. I think there was
also the same camera.
Was it the Epic Dragon?
Red Epic. No, we were on Epic Weapon.
A weapon.
Epic Weapon,
okay,
yeah.
Cool.
So it was a helium sensor. Yeah.
Nice. Just what I liked, it's kind of the colors. It's very contrasty, like there's kind of this sort of very dark blue tint to it. You know, I guess what was the process like for kind of getting that look on the set, and what was there any tinkering in post, like with Da Vinci or anything like that, with color correction? What was kind of the process of getting the look?
Well, Evan Bucka, my DP, did a great job on set. He's a super talented guy. This is my first time directing, producing, or writing, but I'm a career camera operator and AC. Mm-hmm. So he was actually a friend of mine who I worked with, and I knew was really talented. So he dedicated a lot of time to that. So I didn't have to worry too much about the look while we were going. But it was a lot of time in Da Vinci. Yeah. There were like 7 different color passes on that. The first one was super out there, very purple and yellow. And yeah, it took a while to kind of tone it down into something that we landed on. Lots of opinions before we finally like toned it down. Lots of time with me by myself in Da Vinci, just like yelling at a screen.
Yeah, been there, absolutely. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the sound design, which obviously we didn't hear coming through on the stream today, but off this stream, the sound design is fantastic.
Thank you.
How did you come up with those choices?
It was pretty baked into the idea before we started shooting. So I talked to my sound designer. He was also the person who shot on the day, so that helped a lot. So we kind of got to talk, and I've worked with him before on a crew side of things. So we were also friends. So I was comfortable talking to him about things, and it was a lot of play back and forth. And he did a really good job right off the bat. So it was I'm sure just like word vomit from me that he turned into something that made sense. I think I just kept saying something about a tinnitus sound that I wanted to take over, and he was, actualized that into something that fit the tone. So like he did a great job.
It's really important what you're saying there about working with someone that you're familiar with, you already have a history with, because then the connection of their understanding of what you're trying to achieve is a lot more seamless. So we definitely recommend.
Having a good crew is super key. Making sure that you get the right people in place is really how you get anything done. I think
exactly, and building
it's a
your
collaborative
network.
process.
Yeah. Great. I guess my next question goes back to what we were speaking about with Luke and what inspired you to get involved in the film industry. Was there a film or a particular moment where you were just like, this is it?
No, I've been doing stupid little short films since I was in high school. I don't know, since I was a kid. It's the first thing I did once I got into school is I went straight into the film path, and then started working at it as soon as I could. And then the lockdown really made me go a little crazy because it shut everything down here. So I had the time and no outlet to do anything. So it kind of pushed this film out. So
Great.
it was really a lot of, just time and frustration to get this done.
And what's been the response on the festival circuit?
We're waiting on like one or two more, but yeah, same thing. We're pretty much, I think we're done on the circuit and going to just go online soon. I'm, focusing on new projects. We shot a year ago today, so
yeah,
I think ready to move on to something else.
When you say you're thinking about putting it online, is there any particular channel that you're interested in, for example, on YouTube or Vimeo that you're looking at?
Yeah, I think I was just going to put it on YouTube once. Like I said, we're waiting on like one or two more festivals to hear back, I think next month.
I would definitely look at a platform called Omeletto. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
But if you manage to get, for both of you, if you manage to get your film on there, you're looking at anything from like 500,000 views plus. The films that make it onto that channel hit the millions sometimes. I would say Omeletto is the best one for both of you because it is kind of any genre, whereas you have more specific ones like Dust, which is just sci-fi, and then you have horror, which is Alter. But there are lots of them around, so definitely have a look at that to see if there's any way that you can get onto their YouTube channels to then get growth behind your short, which will then help you financing the next one or however you're going to get the next one off the ground. If you can prove that many people have watched it, then it'll be
it's a huge thing of financing for sure.
To get their money. But yeah.
Oh no, definitely look into that. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. So what is the next project about?
Well, I'm trying to do I'm not trying. We've shot already a series of just really stripped down monologues.
Cool.
I'm kind of selling them as really dressed up self-tapes almost. It's just an actor in like a very clear set talking to the camera. And the first one actually just went onto YouTube today. It should be out like nowish. I scheduled it for the stream.
Great.
So trying to do more of those. I have another one coming out next month and I want to turn that into an ongoing series. And then there's a comedy short that I am shooting hopefully in March, if I can ever nail my DP down to set a date with me. But yeah, it's about a bad first date. So
great, sounds fun.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Perfect, great. Luke, do you have any questions for Neil?
When are you coming to Sydney so we can work together? That's the main one.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. As soon as it's safe to travel in and out of LA, I guess.
Completely understand. It's a stupid question from the start. I'm sorry.
Well, Australia is probably the hardest country to get into with COVID.
Yeah, that's
bit of a spicy one we are.
Yeah. There you go. But yeah, please continue conversations offline between you and like share ideas. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, definitely. No, I was a big fan of your short.
Thank you. Yeah, same. I never really I've seen a short done like that, and I really enjoyed it. It made me feel anxious. I mean, I know that's kind of what you're going for, but I was like,
it was exactly The last shot is the only handheld one there. I want you to feel uncomfortable at the end.
Yeah. No, really well.
I think our mission is accomplished here. We've got a couple of filmmakers together and talking and networking and things. We're good.
Amazing.
You guys will come up at the thanks in our Oscar speeches. The thank.
There you go.
Just wait. I'm sorry.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the call today. Do stick around for a moment as we close this stream down. But I just want to say thank you for joining us and sharing your stories. It's always great to hear from the filmmakers.
Especially across 3 different time zones.
We did it though. We managed to do it. So thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks everyone.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Man, my YouTube was so behind that whole time.
I was so worried about my dog making noise, but he is so asleep right now.
Mate, Flynn just went apeshit at the thing. I was watching him as I was muted while you were talking, and he was just the whole time just growling.